In this lecture, we'll discuss about sliding window. So, whatever are the sequence numbers, they use modulo 2 raised to m, which is a circle, can represent the sequence numbers from 0 to 2 raised to m minus 1. So, a circle can represent the sequence numbers from 0 to 2 raised to m minus 1. Buffer is represented as a set of slices called sliding window that occupies part of the circle at any time. Okay, so you can see in this diagram is going to show 4 packets have been sent. So sequence number of first outstanding packet, then sequence number of next packet to send, sequence number of first outstanding packet, sequence of next packet to send, sequence number of first outstanding packet, then so you can see here 7 packets have been sent. Here packet 0 has been acknowledged, you can see as it has. So here in this 0 has been not colored, so it has been acknowledged window slides. Okay, so when a packet is sent by a sender side, corresponding slice is marked. So when a packet is sent, that corresponding slice is marked. The buffer is full and no further messages can be accepted from the application layer. The corresponding slice is unmarked. When an acknowledgement arrives, if some consecutive, the corresponding slice is unmarked when an acknowledgement arrives. So you can see here packet 0 has been marked, but in this fourth diagram D, packet 0 has been unmarked because acknowledgement has been received. Okay, if some consecutive slices from the beginning of the window are unmarked, window slides over the range of the corresponding sequence number to allow more free slices at the end of the window. The sliding window at the center is shown in figure. So this is at the center, which is in circular format. Okay, sequence numbers are in modulo 16. So m is 4. That is why we have 0 to 15, 2 raised to m minus 1 sequence numbers, 0 to 15. So modulo 16 m4, and the size of window is 7. Size of the window is 7. You can see here window is full. When 7 packets have been sent in figure C, you can see 7 packets have been sent, window is full. Size of the window is 7. You can see in figure C. Okay, see here, see. Size of the window is 7. 7 packets have been sent, window is full. Okay, then whatever is this sliding window is just an abstraction. Actual situation uses computer variables to hold the sequence numbers of the next packet to be sent and last packet sent. Linear representation sliding window is used by most protocols. So you can see this is circular one. Next you can see linear. This is sliding window in linear format. Okay, linear representation sliding window is used by most protocols. Whatever is the idea is same, whether it is circular or linear. But this will take normally less space on paper. So when you see the space on paper of this and circular, this will take less space on paper. But whatever are things told by both representations are same, because when both sides of each diagram are taken and bend them up, the same diagram will appear. Next we'll go for congestion control. Okay, in packet switched network, the important issue such as internet connection is congestion. Congestion in a network may occur if the load on the network, that is number of packets sent to the network, is greater than the capacity of the network. the number of packets a network can handle. Okay, number of packets sent to the network is greater than the capacity of the network. Number of packets a network can handle. Congestion control refers to the mechanism and techniques that control the congestion and keep the load below the capacity. Congestion happens. Congestion control refers to the mechanism and techniques that control the congestion and keep the load below the capacity. Congestion happens in any system that involves waiting. For example, congestion happens on a freeway because any abnormality in the flow, such as accident during rush hour, creates blockage. Congestion in a network or inter-network occurs because routers and switches have queues, buffers that hold the packets before and after processing. A router, for example, has an input queue and an output queue for each interface. The queues become so congestion in a network or inter-network occurs because routers and switches have queues, buffers that hold the packets before and after processing. A router, for example, has an input queue and an output queue for each interface. The queues become overloaded and congestion occurs if a router cannot process the packets at the same rate at which they arrive. So congestion at the transport layer is actually the result of congestion at the network layer. So now we'll see about connectionless and connection oriented protocol. So whatever is this transport layer protocol, like a network layer protocol, can provide two types of services, connectionless and connection oriented. Nature of these services at the transport layer, however, is different from the ones at the network layer. At the network layer, a connectionless service may mean different paths for different datagrams belonging to the same message. Connectionless service at the transport layer means independency between packets. Connection oriented means dependency. So connectionless service at the transport layer means independency between packets. Connection oriented means dependency. Now we'll see about connectionless service. Whatever is the source, process needs to divide its messages into chunks of data of the size acceptable by the transport layer and deliver them to the transport layer one by one. The transport layer treats each chunk as a single unit without any relation between the chunks. When a chunk arrives from the application layer, the transport layer encapsulates it in a packets and sends it. Assumption. Client process has three chunks of messages to send to a server process to show the independency of packets. Client process has three chunks of messages to send to a server process to show the independency of packets. Chunks are handed over to the connectionless transport protocol in order. As there is no dependency between the packets at the transport layer, packets may arrive out of order at the destination and will be delivered out of order to the server process. The movement of packets using a timeline is shown, but we have assumed that the delivery of the process to the transport layer and vice versa are instantaneous. At client side, three chunks of messages are delivered to the client transport layer in order 0, 1 and 2. Because of the extra delay in transportation of the second packet, delivery of message at the server is not in order 0 to 1. If these are three chunks of data belong to the same way, server process may have received a strange message. If one of the packets were lost, the situation would be worse. As there is no numbering on the packets, receiving transport layer has no idea that one of the messages has been lost. Delivers two chunks of data to the server process. True transport layers do not coordinate with each other. The receiving transport layer does not know when the first packet will come nor when all of the packets have arrived. Flow control, error control or congestion control cannot be effectively implemented in a connectionless service. Connection oriented service. Okay, so this diagram is going to show, so this one connectionless service. So you can see message 0, packet 1, packet 2, message 0, 1, 2, message 2 is delivered out of order. See here, packet 0 comes first, then packet 2 comes first, packet 1 comes afterwards. Due to that, message 2 is delivered out of order as there is no dependency between the packets. So you can see. Then next we'll see the diagram of connection oriented service. Connection oriented service. So this diagram is going to show the connection oriented service. So there is a dependency between the packets. Okay, client and server first need to establish a logical connection between themselves in case of connection oriented service. The data exchange can only happen after the connection establishment. After data exchange, connection needs to be toned down. The connection oriented service at the transport layer is different from the same service at the network layer. In the network layer, connection oriented service means a coordination between the two end hosts and all the routers in between. At the transport layer, connection oriented service involves only the two hosts. Server is end to end. There is a need to make a connection oriented protocol at the transport layer over either a connectionless or connection oriented protocol at the network layer. So there is a need to make a connection oriented protocol at the transport layer over either a connectionless or connection oriented protocol at the network layer. So this figure shows, you can see the first connection open request, then connection establishment is one phase, then second data transfer is another phase, third is tear down phase. So connection establishment phase, data transfer phase, connection tear down phase in a connection oriented service at the transport layer. So shows the connection establishment, data transfer and tear down phases in a connection oriented service at the transport layer. Okay, so you can see here connection establishment is one phase, data transfer is one phase, connection tear down is another phase. Okay, so flow control, error control and congestion control in a connection oriented can be implemented. Okay, next we'll see about finite state machine. Finite state machine. Okay, see message 0, message 2 hold, message 1 and 2 will be delivered in order. So whatever is so whatever, now we'll discuss about will discuss about finite state machine. Okay, finite state machine. Connectionless and connection oriented service represented as finite state machines. So this is connectionless and connection oriented service represented as SMPs. So whatever is the behavior of the transport layer protocol will be represented both when it provides a connectionless and a connection oriented protocol. So FSM, finite state machine, is used to represent the behavior of a transport layer protocol both when it provides a connectionless and when it provides a connection oriented protocol. So using this tool, each transport layer, sender or receiver, is taught as a machine with a finite number of states. The machine is always in one of the states until an event occurs. Each event, so the machine is always in one of the states until an event occurs. Each event is associated with two reactions, defining the list of actions to be performed and determining the next state. Initial state. One of the states must be defined. State in which machine starts when it turns on. So defining the list of actions to be performed and determining the next state. Next, initial state is one of the states must be defined. State in which machine starts when it turns on. Then rounded corner rectangle shows state, colored text to show events. So you can see rounded corner rectangle show states, colored text to show events. Okay, colored text to show events. Then this is initial state. Then regular black text to show actions. So you can see regular black text to show actions. Then horizontal line. It is used to separate the event from the action. We replace horizontal line with a slash. So you can see this horizontal line. Okay. Then arrow, movement to next state. So this is the arrow, you can see, no? Arrow is movement to next state. So connectionless transport layer, FSM is with only one state. So if it is connectionless transport layer, FSM with only one state, that is established states. So this is for connectionless. Connectionless transport layer, FSM is with only one state. So this is first part. This diagram is for connectionless. Then machine on each end, established state, ready to send and receive transport layer protocol. So you can see here established state, ready to send and receive transport layer protocols. So this is FSM for connectionless. This one you can see this diagram. This diagram is for FSM for connection oriented transport layer. Okay, now we will see about FSM of connection oriented transport layer. Needs to go through three states before reaching the established state. Machine also needs to go through these three states before closing the connection. Remains in this state until a request for opening the connection arises from the local process. Machine sends an open request packet to the remote transport layer. Machine sends an open request packet to remote transport layer and moves to open wait one state. When an acknowledgement is received from the other end, local FSM moves to the open wait second state. When the machine is in this state, a unidirectional connection has been established. But if it is a bidirectional connection is needed, machine needs to wait in this state until other end also request a connection. When the request is received, the machine sends an acknowledgement and moves to the established state. Data and data acknowledgement can be exchanged between the two ends when they are both in established state. The established state, both in connectionless and connection oriented transport layers, represent a set of data transfer states. To tear down a connection, application layer sends a close request message to its local transport layer. The transport layer sends a close request packet to the other end and moves to close wait 1 state. When an acknowledgement is received from the other end, machine moves to the close wait 2 state and waits for the close request packet from the other end. When this packet arrives, machine sends an acknowledgement and moves to the close state. Next, we'll discuss about transport layer protocols. So, whatever is a TCP IP protocol, it uses a transport layer protocol that is either a modification or a combination of some of these protocols. In order to have the discussion simpler, we will discuss all of these three protocols as a unidirectional protocol in which the data packets move in one direction. Later, they can be changed to bidirectional protocols where data can be moved into directions. Okay, then first it will be for unidirectional, later for bidirectional, which is full duplex. Now first we'll see about simple protocol. This is the first protocol, which is simple connectionless protocol with neither flow nor error control. Receiver can immediately handle any packet it receives. Receiver can never be overwhelmed with incoming packets. This simple connectionless protocol with neither flow nor error control. The transport layer at the sender gets a message from its application layer, makes a packet out of it, sends a packet. The transport layer at the receiver receives a packet from network layer, extracts a message from the packet and delivers it to the application layer. The transport layer of the sender and receiver provide flow control, error control and congestion control in a connection oriented protocol. So you can see now. Okay. Packet is sent. Finite state machine. Provide transport layer services for this application layer. Okay. So we'll see about finite state machine for this simple protocol. For simple protocol. Is it clear? You can see. Okay. So sender side should not send a packet until its application layer has a message to send. Okay. The receiver side cannot deliver a message to its application layer until a packet arrives. These requirements use two FSMs. Each FSM has only one state, ready state. Sending machine remains in the ready state until a request comes from the process in the application layer. When this event occurs, the sending machine encapsulates the message in a packet and sends it to the receiving machine. The receiving machine remains in the ready state until a packet arrives from the sending machine. When this event occurs, the receiving machine decapsulates the message out of the packet and delivers it to the process at the application layer. FSMs for the simple protocol. UDP protocol is a slight modification of this protocol. Okay. So this is FSM for simple protocol. Each FSM has only one state, ready state. Okay. Sending machine remains in the ready state until a request occurs. The sending machine encapsulates the message in a packet and sends it to the receiving machine. The receiving machine remains in the ready state until a packet arrives from the sending. When this event occurs, the receiving machine decapsulates the message out of packet and delivers it to the process at the application layer. So this is FSM for simple protocol. UDP protocol is slight modification of this. Example. So we'll take an example. The example has been given. So this example is going to show communication using this protocol. It is very simple. The sender sends packet one after another without even thinking about the receiver. So is it clear? The flow diagram. The sender sends packets one after another without even thinking about the receiver. So it goes on sending. So this is about the simple protocol. Okay, so I'll stop here. You read about this in next lecture. I'll continue with